Fitness Pro Mentor community, what is going on? Welcome to today's Friday Masterclass. And today we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to talk about creating compelling looking social media. And truth is, if you are brand new to social media or you've been doing it for a while and you feel like, hey, I don't know if I'm hitting the mark, I'm going to share something with you right up front. Consistency, quality, and keywords are absolutely key. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a split second and I'm going to actually show you both my personal nerdy drum account, if you will, the thing that I'm using to promote some of the drum mechanic stuff. And then we're going to look at the Strata page. We're going to talk about two things. And then we're going to make some cool looking content, both a reel as well as making an actual post in a very simple free software called Canva. In case you are new to social media, or like I said a moment ago, hey, there's my wonderful son, Maxwell, you're trying to figure out, how do I make this whole thing work? To make compelling social media, what we need to make sure is that your content, first and foremost, is clearly recognized by the artificial intelligence of the social media platforms. What the bananas does that mean? Just hear me out. All these social media platforms have been using something that you're probably familiar with called hashtags. Now, this is all for your personal training business, so don't stick with me even though I got my drum thing here. Hashtags were common ways to help users and consumers to find content that was within a specific topic area. So you could look up fitness, barbell, drums, ballet, dance, whatever subset category you like to look up. Those hashtags, what was cool was that every time that hashtag was used, it was reconciled. And that way, hashtags that were used more often than not, like the word fitness that was used billions of times, meant that every time the word fitness was used, it helped fitness be seen in general by more people. And it also helped fitness be an actual trendy word that people in the fitness category who are posting fitness-based content would see more fitness stuff. If you use a less common soundbite word, like let's say, orthokinematic, right? Orthokinematic is not buzzwordy at all, but you're using it over and over and over again. If you're the only one using it and you post it 200 times, that means the hashtag was posted 200 times. Orthokinematic is not a very popular word, and most images, you can't really see an image that represents orthokinematic very easily to the consumer, cold or warm level audiences. So what needs to happen is that the hashtag needs to be extremely simple, so that way it is seen by a lot of people. That's why personal training and chiropractic is so much more readily seen than biomechanics specialist, if that's what you call yourself, or any other title. So that's cool. And then the second part of it is that images and the words that are actually on the posts are now being recognized as keywords. And so here's what I mean by that is, if I actually look at my reels on this drum page, if you look at the image at the top right, it says fitness for drummers, bass drum exercises. If I said to you, hey, what do you think that video is about? Without even seeing it, the name of the video and all the information on it will already tell you this is about bass drum exercise, and someone can click to choose to engage it or not. The image itself is extremely clear. There's a happy person, no drums, let's be serious, but I'm in a gym that says the word exercise, so that's 2 for exercise, and then the word fitness. So there's a stacking of 3 things that say fitness just on the actual thumbnail. The image beside it says drum and bass vibes. What is that about? Well, it's probably about drum and bass. Little soundbitey if you're not familiar with music and what drum and bass actually is, but the word drum is in there and I'm on the drums, and so drum is being used twice. The one beside I just posted a little while ago, and it's just me having fun opening a new drum, and it's only got 84 views, so that should tell you something. But if I come down and I look at this one that's more clear, right, that one with the spine, right, it says drummer posture. What do you think that video is about? Well, it's about drummer posture. And so if you look through this page, it is clear that the account that you're looking at here is about drums and fitness for drummers, in my opinion. And I asked this in our study group with all of our active students, and they would agree. If you look at the Strata Internal Performance Instagram page, social media wise, if you look at this content, it is clear that there are happy people that come here. It's clear that it's in a gym. It's clear that not everyone looks like a workout person here. There's a lot of different people in here. And the majority of the content, in my opinion, looks quite sharp, clean, and I hope cinematic. The truth is, this image says Newmarket Personal Training. There is a gym. There's someone exercising. there's words describing what's going on, and then to stack on top of that, which is what I call stacking, down here it says we are experts at isolating problematic areas in the muscular system, exercise, so on and so forth. Every time you post something, the post you put up needs to be blatantly obvious as to what that content is about. If you post it, here's a perfect example. Let's come back to my podcast set. If I do a video here and I give you, and I'm like, hey everyone, this is Brandon from Stratton. I want you moving and exercising pain-free. Today we're going to talk about how to resolve back pain with one simple exercise. What I want you to do is I want you to do this exercise, blah, 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 blah. No matter how good my information is, this format that you're seeing here, the words will help with keywords. What I type in the topic will help. What you're seeing here, nothing in this frame says anything about fitness, right? I look like a fit person. That might pick up, but I'd have to be a gratuitous bodybuilder if that makes sense. There's a workouty person over here, right? Strata guy, sort of, not really. There's podcast stuff. That's definitely standing out. There's little drums over here. That stands out. There's a spine, but nothing in this image, no matter how cool it is, actually says anything about fitness. Let me know below if that does not make sense. But if I said, hey, everyone, I'm going to teach you how to podcast better. This looks like a podcasty setup. If I talked about drums, this scene would actually make more sense to talk about fitness for my clients. And this is where you don't see this scene on the Strata internal performance page almost ever. Nothing about this image picks up consistent fitness communication. And this is one of the big mistakes that a lot of people make, because as they're posting social media content they're putting out there doesn't even look like what they do. I could sit here and I'm like, hey, everyone, I want to tell you about professional dancing. But the thing is that this would literally pick up the same amount of keywords as if I talked about personal training. So you want some real amazing advice? One of our students, he's been posting stuff like this with a flat background, started posting some stuff in his gym and literally got like 5 to 7 times more viewership, 5 to 7 times, just by being in a gym and saying the same thing. Last piece of advice that I will give you before we actually start making content, if we come back to this, is you can see that everything on this page is clearly exercise. There are people, happy people, exercising, a couple images of my son, but it looks like it is a fitness gym space. There are not pictures of drums up here, things I like. There's not too many pictures of my house, right? There's a couple small pictures of my family because I try to do as many as I can in the gym, hence why I love this picture of my wonderful son Maxwell. But truthfully, even that one is still in the gym. The keywords, the images, the things I type, the hashtags I use, the captions I use, all stack together. So if we take that idea and now we transition that actually into trying to make some cool content, we're going to try and make cool content in 2 ways. We're going to make a cool looking video. Truthfully, I have no idea what I'm going to do yet, but that's kind of the magic of this, and that's why I want to show you what's so cool about this. And then on top of that, I actually am going to try to make a very cool looking image and talk about some things image stylistic wise that I think are important. What I did, as you can kind of see here, and can I zoom in a bit more? Yes, I can. Boom, perfect. I'm using canva.com. It is free software, open source to everyone. There are some features that you only get access to if you're paying for the professional subscription, I think is like $10 a month. But what I did was I took a little video of me exercising on the gym floor, really nothing crazy at all. And how long is it? 13 seconds. Let's see. Good. And you can see here, it's me doing some random stuff. Now, there's actually some sound on my end that you won't hear, but what I'm going to do, just so you guys can kind of see exactly what I'm doing, is I'm just going to trim the fat so that way it's just me exercising. So this is just, how long is it? A 7-second clip. Now I'm going to add a second one beside it because I want to make it look kind of cool, and I want to just show you, again, stylistically. Boom, and there. Okay, just so you can kind of see what's going on here, I've got 2 images back to back. And the first one I've shot in a way that it's kind of the length of the gym. So you see that when I use this, and by the way, all of these are shot on iPhone, so there's nothing fancy going on here. All pocket devices in last year's model, so it's even cheaper. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to frame me in a way that I could put some text or overlay on top of the image and have it look cool. I'm also trying to add depth and show as much of what's going on in the background as I possibly can. So here's 2 shots of me exercising. So speedy pullover on the Kaiser machine. Cool. And then we switch to a framed shot shooting through the leg press, which I actually really quite like, which looks super cool in my opinion. Now let's just make sure of one tiny thing. Boom, boom, boom. Make sure the transition is good. Cool. Little choppy right now, but it's still rendering, so that's absolutely fine. So what can we do to make this look cool? Well, honestly, right off the bat, this is actually pretty simple, and I'm fairly content with this. And I'll tell you what, I'll do one more thing. I got one more image because image videos of 3 look pretty cool. If you're going to post a bunch of videos in a row, by the way, I would try to do groups of odd numbers. Odd numbers kind of gives a definitive middle. You kind of have this nice intro, mid-scene, and then conclusion scene. But now I've got, what is this, 15 seconds of clips. And it's just these 3 videos back to back, which I think looks just fine. That's a great starting point. Cool. So now what are we going to do? Well, let's try and add some elements to this thing to see if we can make this thing look a little cooler. So I'm going to start with this one video here, and I'm going to show you some fun little stuff. So first thing, what do we want to do? Well, I tell you what, I kind of want to figure out how I can put some cool text on this thing and make it look kind of cool. So what I'm done is I'm just literally in the random shape area. And what a lot of people will do when they're putting shapes on things is they kind of just put a box or something like that. And that's all fine. But here's what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spin this thing on a 45-degree angle. See if we can do boom like that. Good. We'll move this to there. Now, who likes big black boxes on an image? Well, I'll tell you what, I don't. But hear me out. Here's what's kind of cool about this. So we got this big black image here. You can't see what I'm doing exercise-wise, but I've kind of started to try and frame this image. I'm going to change the opacity a little bit so you can kind of see through the image, but it kind of creates just this dark area here. And what's cool about that, that's not on both images, it's just on the one. And now what I can do pretty easily, if I wanted to, is I could start adding a logo. Let's find my Strata logo. By the way, there's tons of content in here, as you can see, because I've been using this thing for a little while. And boom. Now, here we got this. Now, truth is, I got a black logo, so why don't we change this for fun to white. Good. And same logo insert. And so what I'm trying to show you is how easy it is. There we go. To make a very simple looking page. Cool. Good. So right off the bat, I got this thing. I got this nice little simple striking line showcasing me doing some stuff. And then I got some images where there's nothing on it yet. So here's what's cool about doing the video clips and the reels in Canva is you can actually do some really neat editing on each scene. So you see I got this first scene. It's very simple. There's nothing going on here. On the second scene, what could we do? Well, the first scene is just me kind of doing like an introduction. Let's keep this extremely consistent. We had the white block on the previous one. So we're going to do another white block. And we'll do that. Same kind of idea. Boom. A little bit of opacity. Good. And we'll put some text in here. And we'll change the font because I like the different font. Good. And let's just do the most vanilla marketing thing that you've seen me do. Cool. Why not? And so trying to have some fun with this, but what I've already done, as you guys can kind of see, is there's consistency between these two images. I have the first video from the beginning. Boom. Logo. Little exercise doing some pullover. Cool. Next scene. Transitions. Just says exercise pain free. Cool. Shorten that up so we can get rid of that transition. Good. And let's have a look at the last one. Nice. And what we can do now is we got this huge space here, which was deliberate. We can do another nice solid image. Do the same turn I did before, put it on the opposite corner. Pow, pow, pow. Good. Like that. Bring the opacity down. Good. Text. Same as before. And what you guys are going to start to see, guys and gals, Boom. And so look what we got here. This is me totally just making this up on the fly. But I think this is what's kind of fun, is I think this is a pretty simple, cool looking image. It's got some nice balance because I've got space for all these images. I can put some music on this and put it on Instagram, which you guys are going to see on the Strata page very shortly. And it's just having fun. Now, truth is, I actually don't love this. Like, I'm going to post it because I want everyone to see what I'm posting. I think that's actually kind of do that. That looks better. Cool. But I want to show you how easy it is. All I did was I recorded some content on my iPhone. I chose a bit of a theme with the white and the text, exercise pain-free, personal training, new market. And I'll put another little Strata logo. Why not? And show you how easy it is to make some cool looking stuff. And then after this, we're going to actually make a cool looking reel because I think that you will find some value in making cool looking images with some very simple stacking stuff. And there's that logo again. Boom. Strata internal performance. Why not? No, we don't need that. We don't need that. Cool. All right, if anyone's watching this, please let me know what you think. But I would say if you're like, hey, well, where can I see this? Go, that looks better. Good. Go to Strata Internal Performance on Instagram, and you will see this there in just a moment. And I'm going to download it now. I won't do it right now while I'm on camera. Cool. So I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to be posting that in just a moment. Now, let's actually make just a very cool looking image for the sake of making cool images. So I love making images, and because truthfully, I think this is the nicest thing about a lot of these softwares. If you're making a thumbnail or something that looks cool, you can do something very cool. So let's pick something a little different. I'll do Strata again in personal training because we're kind of in that world. And anyone that I would tell you what, first and foremost, try to avoid using flat backgrounds. If you can, I love using backgrounds that have a bit of texture and depth to them. And so this is the nice thing, is that you can kind of get little images like this that have gradients in them, like so, and it just adds so much more depth to the image. A lot of these, if you use them, will give you an opportunity to choose different colors. So we can even just do something like this, kind of like dark gray to white, go there. That's kind of cool. Why not? So why I'm trying to show you this is you can already see that like a regular square already has more depth and texture than not. The other thing that I'm a huge fan of, as you may have caught in the last thing, is to add density to a picture, is to use image opacity to continue to have the image on the page, but have it not be the primary driver, right? Strata Internal Performance, that logo, I love it. But I can kind of like do this faded thing here where it's still there and it makes the image, it makes this whole thing look almost like 3D, if that makes sense. Here, let's change one thing here. It makes the whole thing look 3D, which I think is just so cool. So we're going to do that. Boom. There. This is what I would call is texture or depth. And I love it because as we get a little bit more creative, we can have some really cool stacking happen that looks really, really unique. Now, we could play with different ideas. We can play with different things because truth is we could use this yellow and play with it. I think that actually looks pretty cool. Here, I'm changing something here again. There we go. And let's change one more thing. So I got the yellow in the background now because I'm kind of liking how that looks a little bit more. And we're going to put the Strata logo on top of it like I was doing a second ago. But I'm going to do it off, so it's not going to be centered. So we'll actually do it kind of like, yeah. Get the Strata. Boom. Cool. Part of it's playing with it. There you go. So we'll do this kind of off-centered thing, kind of like that. Why not? That looks cool. Good. So now I've actually created a bit of texture and depth. It looks pretty cool. And if you really want to get into the idea of texture and density, you can pick some other things. Like one of the things that you'll see a lot of YouTubers do is take something like this, like a grid of dots, and stack it on there. You can do a lot of cool stuff like that to make it look cool. Okay, so I have this here. Now, what do we want to make the image of? Well, I'll tell you the truth. I think images of people are way, way more powerful, especially for personal training, than anything else. Like, in fact, an image like this is actually really cool because even though it's not really showcasing faces, it's a really nice looking image, and I could put it on the background like so, and I could put some text on it, and I can make it look kind of cool. Let's see if we got a better image in my stock here, because what I would love to do is have something that looks like personal training. Here, this is even actually an old picture of Glenn, right? And you could kind of get away with this kind of stuff, where you've got a great picture of someone in the gym, and you're seeing a bunch of different layers. I love it. That actually looks pretty cool, even with that background. But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to find here. That's going to be perfect. Excellent. So this is me and one of my favorite. He's unfortunately passed away now. But one of my favorite clients, Manny. He's a rock star. But what's cool about this image is in the software here, you can actually remove the background, which I'll be doing now, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And what's going to happen is me and Manny and those cables are going to still stay in the foreground. And that's going to be kind of cool because, check this out. Boom. Even if I adjust this, so we fix it so it's everything's working here. Now we got this cool image of me and Manny doing a bit of exercise. Whoops. Well, that didn't work this time, now did it? Let's try that again, everybody. Try one more time. But what I'm trying to do, oh, there we go. Perfect. Excellent. So now I got this great image of me and Manny exercising, and I can scale it so that way you can see the intensity of me training him. And what we can do is we can have a little fun, right? Because now we've got the Strata background, we got us, and what I could do, no, we'll keep it the same way. And we can start to add a little bit of text here, and let's see if we can do something that looks kind of cool. Boom. Boom. So one of the things that Manny said to me that was a quote was, "I've never felt younger." And we're going to put that as a quote. Boom, put it up like this. Scale it down so it's in one line. Boom, italic. Good. And let's make that pop a little bit more. And shadow and black. Cool. So now we've got some cool stuff, right? Because we've got this clear image of me training Manny. We've got a nice little bit of branding in the background, a little bit of quote, and we've got a bit of negative space over here, which we could actually adjust this. Actually, let's do that. There we go. Perfect. So this is kind of fun because we got this really cool image of me and Manny doing clearly personal training, and a simple quote says, "I've never felt younger." And then we could have a lot of fun with the actual copy, which I think is great. There are a lot of incredible templates on here, but if you're going to make images that work, like you'll see with this one, and then also with that reel that I just made, you want to make sure that there is depth and clarity to all the images you use. The different textures that you use to help showcase your branding, your logo, but also help exemplify keywords is absolutely critical. For Strata, we've had the words exercise pain-free almost over everything. And many of our students have started to use that too, which is great because it's helping us be seen by more people. But you can make some really incredible, cool-looking social media very quickly. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to come back to just one more thing on my drum page to show you something, because I think this is kind of cool. I've been able to grow my followership on the drum page. I have a business idea for it that I'll be doing soon, but all I've been doing is during my workouts, I've been recording some videos literally like this. I don't care what sound's going in the background, but I show some specific bass drum techniques with just my body weight. And then I trans over to a second scene where I'm actually doing an exercise that is nothing special in the gym, and then I narrate over top of it what I'm doing. As you can see, I've got some text over top of it, but this has helped me because like this particular video got 106 likes and 2,000 views and a bunch of followers. It's so simple that I can do this pretty much every workout. And several of our videos that Glenn and I have been posting lately are literally things that we post in sessions. So you can make some cool stuff on social media in Canva. You make some stuff specifically native in the social media softwares. But just remember, the keywords are absolutely critical. Don't just shoot pictures of yourself in your office. Showcase what you do and who you work with. And if you do that consistently on top of some of the target audience stuff we've talked about in the past, you'll have an incredible turnover. Anyway, everyone, this is Brandon from Fitness Pro Mentors and Strata. I love helping personal trainers like you 2 to 3x their business. I'll tell you what, you got an optimal online content presence, you have an optimal in-person presence, and you deliver great results. You're going to have an incredible business. So everyone, thank you so much for watching this today. Please let me know what you think and comment below. And there is way more to this. So if anyone's feeling stuck and they have a few questions, you're like, well, what can I do for my business? Message me and I'll send you some personalized feedback. I'll give you an audit and I'll send you some good stuff. Thanks so much.